You know him, you love him, the man, the myth, the legend. Of course, I'm talking about Sung Jin-woo from Solo Leveling. Now, as badass as Solo Leveling was, all good things must come to an end, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. As we all know, there's nothing worse than when a series you love simply drags on with no real conclusion, as this tends to damage the fondness you once held for that series. But the beautiful thing with Manwha is that when one adventure comes to a close, it seems there's always another amazing story waiting to be told, which is why today I will be listing my top 5 manhwa to read after Solo Leveling. Now, just before we get into the list, I wanted to note that there are a few series that should be on this list and they aren't. The reason for this is that I covered them in a previous video, so I'll put an image up on screen right now with all those titles, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description down below if you want to check it out. Now, without further ado, let's jump right in to the list. Starting off strong, we have I Am the Fated Villain. In this manhwa, the main character gets transported into a world from a novel he read, but that's not all. He's now in the body of a villain from that novel, and if the story is left to play out how it originally did, things are not going to go very well for him. On top of that, even though he starts off the story insanely powerful, he can't just kill the hero, due to a stat called luck. His luck is negative, and the hero, who is fate's chosen, has a lot of luck, and so to avoid facing the wrath that would ensue if he directly killed the hero, he has to set about to make the hero's life as miserable as he can, and in doing so he discovers that he can raise his own luck. Now, when I started reading this manhwa, I didn't expect to enjoy it nearly as much as I did, so even if I didn't win you over with my title synopsis, please consider giving this one a read because it's still in the early stages and the story is continually picking up, and I'm really looking forward to where it goes. With 27 chapters so far, this one's called I Am the Fated Villain. Up next, we have a pretty interesting one. Now, I can't pronounce the title correctly because it's quite long, so I'm just going to say it how I think it should be pronounced. The Dark Magician Transmigrates After Many Years. The exact amount I'll put here on the title screen. Now, in this one we have a protagonist who essentially becomes one of the strongest beings in all existence, and rebels against the gods who leech off of humanity. Even though he can't destroy these gods, they couldn't beat him either. However, unluckily for our protagonist, they managed to seal him away. Now, of course, it can't last forever, and eventually he is reborn many years in the future, to the son of an influential nobleman. Even though he retains all his past knowledge and is still very powerful, he's nowhere near the strength that he had in his past, and if he's to claim his revenge on these gods, he's going to need to work hard to regain his past strength, while also trying to protect his family and friends along the way. With 47 chapters so far, this one's called The Dark Magician Transmigrates After Many Years. This next one is actually a new favorite of mine, and it really surprised me by just how good the story is. Basically, the world has pretty much been destroyed, however, there's still one party of heroes who managed to make it to the final boss. One member of this party just so happens to be the father of the witch who became the final boss. He spent many years regretting the decisions he made and thinking about how he should have been a better father to prevent his daughter from becoming like this. Before the battle, he takes a stand, but not against his daughter, no. He turns and says that he will do what he should have done a long time ago, and that is defend his daughter. A duel ensues between him and the party's leader, and he loses, being fatally wounded in the process. As he lay there dying, he laments his past and wishes he could start over to do the right thing. Well, what do you know, our character wakes up in his past self and is given a mission to prevent the 5 great catastrophes that caused his daughter's despair. In this second chance, he wastes no time in being a better father and becoming stronger so that he can protect the ones he loves and make things right. This one is hands down my favorite one to read right now. The artwork and lighting are amazing, the fights are pretty good, the story will make your heart melt at times, so be sure to give this one a go. With 21 chapters so far, this masterpiece is called My Daughter is the Final Boss. Coming up next, we have Return of the Legendary Spear Knight. Now guys, this one is a treat. The protagonist became the world's greatest warrior, using not a sword, but a spear. He helped his friend Caesar, or Kaiser, I'm not quite sure how they spell it, Kaiser von Britain, become the emperor, ending the 10-year-long civil war that enveloped the empire. However, being the most powerful means that you are not only feared by your enemies, but your allies. and sure enough, he is seen as a threat by his former comrades who try to kill him. But as he lay there dying, his spear, Lugia, sends him back into his childhood, giving him another opportunity to save his family, become stronger, and claim his revenge. With 41 chapters so far, this one's called Return of the Legendary Spear Knight. Lastly, but not least, we have another favorite of mine called Overgeared. Now, this is a fairly well-known title because I believe it's based off a light novel, but if you're looking for something to read after solo leveling, this one is a must. Our protagonist starts off as a bit of a loser who works hard so he can spend his time playing a VR game called Satisfy. However, you can only have so much bad luck before you get a whole lot of good luck, and our protagonist is indeed a case of this. One day he finds a book called Pegma's Rare Book and becomes a legendary class player. With his new abilities, it's his time to shine. Now, I really love this one because it's got a cool concept, great characters, fun dynamics, and is just a really enjoyable manhwa to read. The art's great, the story stays interesting, and it's really satisfying to see a character who was once down on their luck finally get a chance to make something of themselves. With I believe 126 chapters so far, this amazing series is called Overgeared. Well, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys found some useful suggestions that you can read next. If you did, then please leave a like, and if you have a manhwa or manga that you want to suggest, please leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more like it, then please consider subscribing as I'm trying to release a new video every week. That's it for now, and stay cultured.